and welcome back to the Grace Gotham Museum of Whimsy and Curated Hoarding. I'm your host, Grace Gotham. This is episode 2. Today, we are going to explore this wonderful creation. It is a telephone that works, and I'm probably one of the last 5 people that still has a landline that is under the age of 63. That's right. We don't pick up this phone too often, but it has such a charming ring, doesn't it? Now this phone is actually not vintage, unless you count the way that people describe, quote unquote vintage, the way they do at current vintage clothing stores where they're selling like 1990s things and saying vintage, vintage. Because in that case, this is vintage 90s Pottery Barn. That's right. The reason that I've put this plastic lobster on this phone is because it looks just like a work of art that Salvador Dali created in the 1930s. And I'll show you a picture of that in a moment. But just as an extra added tidbit and a shout out to people out there who knew me back when I had my vintage clothing store on the Upper East Side here, Tallulah Vintage is what it was called. This was my shop telephone, minus the lobster, of course. So that would be, Neil, Howard, Heather, Shiloh, Peter and Lori, Jennifer, so many different friends. Andy, Gregory Moore. Sorry, I used your full name. Sorry about that. But I know I'm forgetting people, but just thinking about, I'm sure you heard this phone ring about 10,000 times. Here is a picture of, bear with me here because I'm walking through the living room. This is a Elsa Schiaparelli book that I have, but it has a picture of Salvador Dali's creation with the lobster telephone. So now you see why I got that idea. I put it there once just for fun, and now I just leave it there, and that's where it stays. Item number 2 is kind of interesting, and I'm going to take you through the living room here again. Sorry if it's shaky and making you dizzy, but I'm trying to keep it as stable as I can. It's this wonderful painting. This painting caught my eye at a thrift shop a number of years ago, probably like 2011 or something when we just moved here. And I saw it, and the tag on it was $35, and we were kind of like not trying to buy too many things because we had just moved here. And so I passed it by, and then I kept thinking about it, and I brought Dave back to the store and said, look, this is the painting I told you about that I've been kind of thinking about. And he liked it. And so we ended up getting it. It was not in this frame, and did not have like a light above it or anything. But I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit further so you can see what it is. It's a lady on stage, and you can see that there's a gentleman in the left-hand corner bottom that's part of her audience, see? And it's called The Review. It's a famous painting, apparently, by Everett Shin of the Ashcan School of Art, which was a collective that mostly depicted in New York City scenes of life. What's kind of interesting is this is an actual painting, and when I finally years later looked it up to see like what is this from, I noticed that it is signed. You can't see it down there barely, but Shin signed it. Probably can't see it. He signed it, but it could be a copy, I'm guessing, because when I looked it up, it said that I guess the Whitney apparently has it, but it's not currently on display. Whatever, I don't know. Maybe this is it, and it like ran away. The back of this did say Ashcan School 1908, which is how I was able to kind of look up some of the stuff. So anyway, this is my $35 work of art that I love. In the comments below, I'm going to include some links about the Ashcan School and Everett Shin, just in case you're interested. Or if any of you guys know any of this stuff, any extra stuff, hey, I'm open to it. Let me know. But I thought you might enjoy this. And a little side note is that when Mr. Gotham and I are drinking cocktails, we always get in the habit of turning the light on over this painting. And that's pretty much the only time it's on. That means we're having a gin and tonic at cocktail hour. And then after we're finished, we turn it off. All right, item number 3. Because food is getting to be a little bit hard to find in terms of items available at the stores these days, I thought you guys might really appreciate this. Back in the summer, there was a street fair near me, and there was a guy. You know, street fairs here in New York can be kind of boring. It's like, oh man, another guy selling socks and corn and pillows, and it's like the same stuff all the time. So sometimes it's extra exciting if there's somebody new. And there was a guy that was selling prints of menus, vintage menus, mostly of restaurants all over the world, really, but a lot of them were New York City. And it was so interesting. And this one caught my eye. A lot of the menu art was absolutely to die for, you can imagine. This one caught my eye, though, because it uses humor in word form, which I'm a big, big fan of. I just find it delightful. So I'm showing you this, so you're thinking, it doesn't look that interesting, whatever. But I'm going to read you some of my favorite things from it. In the meantime, I'm going to show you that it came from this company. Love Menu Art. I hadn't even remembered that. I gotta put on my glasses to read this because, yep. Okay, but I'll tell you some fun things about this. Is that this particular menu is Henrice's Highly Unusual Diet, Chicago, 1930s. So apparently this was there was an actual restaurant called Henrice's. It was from Chicago, founded in 1868, and it was around for nearly 100 years before they closed in like 1962. But and there's no date on this particular item, but they think it dated to the 1930s. And what they did is, like, someone with a sense of humor created this low-calorie menu with delicious dishes. And there's some really fun ones. I'll take a screenshot of it so you can just take your time to read it another time. But some of the highlights are things like see, it's Henrice's, teardrop, 6 cents. Sparkling water. And they're in thimbles. So it goes by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, low-calorie diet. But, of course, they're making fun of it. It's not an actual diet. Like, there's so many. 3 ounces prune juice, gargle only. Or 3 grains of cornmeal, broiled. 1/2 dozen poppy seeds. Dinner, bee's knees and mosquito knuckles sauteed in vinegar. Thursday's breakfast, boiled out stains of old tablecloth. Lunch, belly button of navel orange. Dinner, 3 eyes from Irish potato, diced. And of course, Friday, since I showed you a lobster phone, breakfast, 2 lobster antennas. Lunch, 1 tail joint of seahorse. Dinner, rotisserie broiled guppy fillet. It's just ridiculous. 4 chopped banana seeds. Broiled butterfly liver. Jelly vertebrae a la centipede. Anyway, you get the idea. It's kind of fun just to, I don't know, I really appreciate verbal humor so much. And I just think this is such a work of art. It's hilarious. A 7-ounce glass of steam may be consumed on alternate days to help in having something to blow off. How apropos for right now. I was pretty grouchy today, so it's fun to laugh now. And those are my 3 items for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll have 3 more peculiar items tomorrow. All right. Have a good day. Oh, my hand's sweaty. Sorry. I wiped it off. Have a good day. Bye.